Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We are back, baby. We are back. We are back. Of course, we are streaming on all platforms, all the meta platforms, at least. Uh, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel, like, and share the content. Because tonight, oh boy, we have a great show lined up for you. Welcome to Basketball Heads Live. I am your host, Glenn Poole Harding. And tonight, we have a very special guest. This basketball head was born in Maryland, but spent some significant years living in New York City and Long Island. So he's definitely a New Yorker. This basketball head, along with Richard P. Tinkham Jr., founded the new American Basketball Association in 1999 and became the league's CEO. His accomplishments include globalizing the ABA by launching the ABA Global Initiatives and expanding the league from a measly 7 teams to an outstanding 82 teams. The league has grown to become the largest professional sports league in the world. It is the relaunch of the original ABA, which merged with the NBA in 1976. Tinkham, co-founder, and our guests both, they played a big part in the original ABA and the Indiana Pacers. And we're going to get into that as well. This basketball head was the CEO of his own advertising and broadcasting companies. The ABA was established in 1967 and merged with the NBA in 1976. The New Jersey Nets, San Antonio Spurs, Indiana Pacers, Denver Nuggets. Some of the ABA notables like Julius Irving, the doctor himself, George the Iceman Gervin, Rick Barry, and Moses Malone, along with many others that came to be NBA players. The ABA was reformed in 2000 in the partnership with the NBA and has been operating in harmony for the past 25 years. Without further ado, please welcome to the show American Basketball Association CEO, Joe Newman.
Y'all ready?
Y'all ready?
Yes. You have just stepped out into the world of chaos. Where everybody goes hard. Come on. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Or go home. Never back down. You gotta hold your own. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. East Coast. Go hard. West Coast. Go hard. Midwest. Go hard. Dirty. Hurry up, everybody. Get online, buy your tickets, cause the game about to start.
Hey, Joe, how you doing?
I'm doing terrific, Glenn. Thank you. That was quite an introduction. Greatly appreciated. Nicely done.
Thank you. Well, listen, you see I got the rock over here, right? We celebrating the ABA big time. This means a lot to me. A lot of my early childhood heroes came out of the ABA. And, before we get into that, I just would like to say thank you to my Abraham Lincoln brother, Sean Pratt, for hooking this up. Appreciate you, Sean. Let's just start it off like this, right? Because I'll get into the other questions later. Like, how has Sean Pratt helped, with his team and the ABA, being a team owner and bringing excitement to the league?
Well, that is a very good question. I think I have a pretty good answer. You mentioned that we have 82 teams and are the largest professional sports league. Actually, we're going to play this year with between 125 and 150 teams.
Woo.
And we are divided into 4 regions: the North, the South, the Central, and the West. And so when you have a league as big as ours, you need management of the various regions. And so in looking at the teams, roughly 30 to 40 teams in each of the regions, I look for very sharp, intelligent people to lead the regions, which are divided up into divisions, so that they are able to carry out the business plan. And assessing the different people that we have as team owners in the various regions, we assess that Sean would be a great regional chairman. And so not only is he responsible for operating his Bennington Martin teams, but he also has to look carefully at what happens in Maine and Vermont and New Hampshire and Rhode Island and Connecticut and Massachusetts and New York and New Jersey and Pennsylvania. And he oversees all of that to make sure that they follow the basic ABA plan as it relates to ticket sales, sponsorships, press media relations, community relations, game day operations. And Sean is a very effective leader, very involved, a good man, and so we're lucky to have him.
All right. Got our first technical foul. These are good technical fouls of the night. Salute to my brother Sean. Keep doing big things, man. Keep making us proud here in New York City. Yes, this is awesome. Who you could kind of lean back and relax. You don't have to get too close because I want to be able to see your whole face. Joe, you can lean back a little bit. There you go. Yeah, just relax. There you go. Yep. Who introduced you to the game, Joe? How would you introduce to the game of basketball?
Well, you mentioned being born in Maryland, Baltimore, Maryland. I lived in Baltimore for one day. My dad was a boxing announcer, and he was given an assignment by CBS to broadcast a boxing match in Baltimore. So he took my mother from New York and they drove down to Baltimore, and he did the boxing match. However, she went into labor while they were down there. She left the gym, went to the hospital, had me. The next day, Dad and her got in the car and drove back to New York. So on my birth certificate, it says Baltimore, Maryland, but we lived in the Bronx. My dad also broadcast Brooklyn Dodger baseball games. And so we lived in Brooklyn, the Bronx, and Long Island. And so I'm basically
You're a New Yorker, brother. You're a New Yorker, brother. All right, you're a New Yorker, brother. We're gonna leave that Maryland stuff in the past. That's right. You definitely a New Yorker.
And let me tell you something, Glenn. Just before we came online, I checked out to see what happened in the Mets-Yankee game today because I've been a Yankee fan forever, and they're getting beaten up recently. So anyway, I did not intend to be a basketball CEO. As you mentioned, I was in the advertising business. I sold my ad agency, which was a very large ad agency, and I bought 16 radio stations. I retired from advertising, sold the radio stations, and had nothing to do. But during the advertising agency days, I was the advertising agency for the Indiana Pacers in the old ABA and when they went to the NBA. So I had a great knowledge of the NBA, of the ABA and NBA. Fast forward 20-something years, I happened to be, after selling the radio stations, at a McDonald's in Indianapolis, Indiana, and Dick Tinkham, an old friend and one of the original founders of the original ABA, said to me, "Joe, do you want to bring back the ABA?" And I said, "Dick, the original ABA, outside of the Dr. J and Rick Barry and George Gervin and Moses Malone and those great, great players, outside of that, your league was a basic failure which is why after 6 or 7 years it merged. And had it not merged, the NBA was in deep trouble, but you brought to them this fabulous star power. First year they merged, 12 of the 24 NBA All-Stars were ABA players. I mean, that's how good they are. And I would tell you today, Glenn, you could name those 12 players, but you couldn't name the 12 NBA players, even though they were great.
Yeah.
Even though they're great, but anyway, and he said, well, what do you want to do? And I said, I don't like the lack of diversification in professional sports. Most professional teams are owned by white people, and yet most of the players and the coaches are minorities. So the big thing that stands in the way of that is money. And so many people who have the dream of owning a professional team can't because they don't have money, which is the excuse. So I will bring back the ABA, but I want to diversify the ownership of the ABA so that it includes Blacks, Hispanics, Asian, women, Native Americans, all together, that we are a true melting pot. And the same thing goes with coaches. So I made it easier to own and operate an ABA team than any other, and therefore money was no longer the problem. If I'd have said to Sean, write me a check for $392,450 and I'll give you a team in Bennington, Vermont, Sean would have said to me, no chance. But when I told him what it would take for him to have a team, then I got a Sean Pratt and a Damon Cannon, my president, who is a minority, and Barry down in Philadelphia, who's minority, and all across the league, we're a minority managed organization that makes us very unique. But the thing that I found, Glenn, is that even though they had this passion for basketball, they really didn't have the knowledge it took necessarily to make it a profitable business. So I said, I can't tell Sean or your friend Ruben one thing about basketball. I can't tell you one thing about basketball, but I sure can tell you a lot about the business of basketball. So I said, I'm going to leave the teams to the teams and the coaches and the owners, and they put the best they can on the floor. But I'm going to make sure that you have all the information you need for ticket sales and sponsorships and merchandising and media and press and community relations, so that you have a fair chance of having a successful business, but no chance of losing money, because I'll show you how to operate with a budget that even minimum performance will make you successful. Now, how's that for a long paragraph for a one-line question?
No, it's awesome. You answered a lot of my questions in that. Can you just slide over a little bit to your left, a little bit?
A little to my left?
Yeah, because you're in.
Okay.
There you go. You're talking into your name.
Good.
All right, cool. Yeah. So, coming up in Brooklyn, there was a lot of basketball players that came up. I know, I always talk about the history of New York City basketball, where there was a lot of great Jewish basketball players as well that kind of taught the game to a lot of African Americans that was coming up. And then, my coach was Bobby Hartstein at Abraham Lincoln, that coached all of us at the time that we played at Lincoln. Had some a great influence on us. Do you remember some of the great basketball players that was coming up during your time? In any kind of way, like you can kind of give us some names that we probably forgot about?
Well, I played grade school in Long Beach, New York, with Larry Brown. And you remember Larry Brown?
Yeah, yes.
A great basketball player. And I played football against Jimmy Brown from the Cleveland Browns. And
that's right.
So
yeah.
I played, but I knew the Pacers very well, the Bob Netolickys and Mel Daniels and Billy Kellers and Rick Mounts, and had an opportunity, because I had the tickets that I had, being the advertising agency, of meeting virtually every player that came into the ABA. the original ABA, and they were great basketball players, and they played for the right reasons, because there was not big salaries back then, because there was not big TV back then. So they really competed at a level. So I remember, Marvin Barnes, and you remember Marvin Barnes,
from Providence,
and Ron Boone, the point guard, and George McGinnis, and so it's we back then there was a limited number of NBA teams, and they added the ABA teams to them. Today you have all these colleges and so much talent, and there's still only 30 NBA teams, so there's roughly 360 seats on the NBA benches, and 1/4 of those seats go to international players. And if you look at the NBA playoffs right now, the dominant players on many of the NBA final teams are international players. So you could probably say there are 240 players out of the thousands of great basketball players in the U.S., but there's only 240 places for them. I would tell you that the ABA, my league, and not to put down the G League or the TBL or other leagues, but my top players could compete at the G League level, and I think I could take my All-Star and outside of the top NBA players, those players have the talent it takes to be NBA players. There's just not enough room for them. And so there's so much talent, so much really good talent. But if you really are a basketball lover, which you obviously are, Glenn, you can get as much joy watching the competition of a high school game, and definitely of a college game. And it does not have to be North Carolina Duke. It does not have to be Florida Houston. It does not have to be, a major team. You watch basketball for the pure raw competitiveness, the skill it takes, their ability to just absolutely play, and those games are fun and worth the money. And so, in looking at the ABA, it's just a fun evening. And my wife went out a little while ago and got a couple of sandwiches and came back, and she spent as much at a fast food restaurant as the price of 2 tickets to an ABA game. I mean, it is amazing. You have 2.5 hours of high skilled entertainment with local players. There's going to be Vermont players playing for Sean, and there'll be Boston players playing for the Boston team, Rhode Island players playing for the Rhode Island team. And people have been watching them through AAU and watching those players through college and watching him. And now they have a chance to see them again at a very high level. So, it's really fun. We've done what we've done, which is a little baby miracle, because we don't have national TV. Somehow the networks feel that girls volleyball or women's soccer or high school wrestling is more interesting and more fun than the ABA. There's no comparison. I don't know how many ABA games you've seen, Glenn, but I will tell you that once you see an ABA game with the rules we have, NBA rules, NCAA rules, international rules, and our own rules, make our game the fastest paced, highest scoring, most exciting basketball being played anywhere. The fans get into it, and once they are exposed to the ABA game, it makes the NBA game or an international game or even a college game boring, because of the lack of full court defense and the lack of incentive to press and to trap and to double team and to slow up the offense. And so I'm proud of the game we put together. I'm proud of the ownership we put together, the teams we put together, and hopefully this year we are going to have national TV. And I think once America gets a taste of it, they're going to say all leagues should play with these rules. The other thing is, this is the 250th anniversary of our country. And our ball, as you held up, is red, white, and blue.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
we are 250th anniversary red, white, and blue ball, and we're celebrating that. We also have a very nice campaign called Stand Tall Against Racism, STAR, and so we're trying to not make a political statement, but making a social statement that people can come together and under the common good to move our country forward.
No, that's awesome. I had a chance to travel with the Coney Island Thunder, right? We went
Right.
down to the Basketball Hall of Fame, which was my first time, right? So that was under, the ABA's umbrella of going there for the first time and then watching a game out there in Mass. So that was definitely awesome. That was a great experience for myself, something I would never forget. And my first time at an ABA game. So definitely appreciated that. Thank you, Cottage, for dropping by. We appreciate you. Thank you. So that kind of opened my eyes up to the whole ABA experience besides what I saw as a youngster, right? So just going back a little bit, seeing some of our local heroes like, Fly Williams and Roger Brown, Dr. J, and all those guys participate in the ABA, which kind of catapulted them to the NBA. But what the NBA took from you guys, right? And that's what you said now. The same way they took a lot of the things that you guys was doing early on, if they just adapted some of those rules, the combination of those NBA, college, and ABA and high school rules to make the game a little bit more exciting. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't watch NBA basketball like that no more. And
It's boring.
that's a horrible product right now. Great players, they're getting paid a lot of money, but the competitiveness, the things that we watch for, like, the creativity, right, and originality, it's like everybody's playing the same, and that makes for a boring game. So what you guys is bringing is definitely that diversity in play, and also playing every minute of the game like it should last, and not waiting to the fourth quarter to turn things on, or just waiting for the playoffs to come, which is now. So
That's it. And when you were playing ball, Glenn, they were taking maybe 10 3-point
yeah,
shots a game, or 12 or 14. Today, 30, 35, and 43s, and and 6'9" forwards and centers are taking 3-point shots, and it's just changed the whole nature of the game. You mentioned earlier on Nate Archibald and Spud Webb and John Stockton and some of the great guards that were so essential to a team. And you look at the game today and the way it's played, the NBA game is played. I think the NCAA game is a very good game because they're
yes,
playing for the right reasons, except they dropped in NIL, and so now they've turned these college students into professionals, and now high schools are allowing NIL, and I don't think they understand the impact that is going to make on professional sports in the future, and which is really a shame because they've lost the spirit of competition and are celebrating only those that are exceptional players. And so you might have one or two on a team and that are taking advantage of their name and their skills at the expense of the others that are on the team that cannot do that. So I won't get into the political side of that, but I think when it was, and now they're allowing professional players, NBA players, after their career, go back into college. That would not happen under the original management of the NBA. It will under the current management because, well, that's political again. I won't do that. But
no, I got you.
I say I'm honored to be, on your podcast, and it really makes what I do worthwhile, and so it makes me happy.
How did you get into the ad and broadcast business? Because what we do here is to generate some revenue is advertisement, of course, and what I'm doing right now is broadcasting, and even during our high school games when we're taping the high school games, I have a high school podcast as well, and me and my partner, we broadcast the games live at the high school games here in New York City, because the newspapers and the local media don't cover New York City basketball like they used to in the past. So it's fallen to my lap and a few other local media guys who have helped keep New York City basketball alive. Yeah. So what was the driving force to get into that side of the business?
Well, I went to Boston University, and then I went to work for IBM. And my dad asked me if I thought I could sell advertising. So I left New York because I didn't really want to be a commuting type at IBM, and went to Channel 12 in Richmond, Virginia, and found that I was pretty good at sales. And I started there and did a TV show. And then we actually syndicated a television show, a real estate show around the country. And I ran that syndicated real estate show around the country. But when my first and second kids were born, I didn't want to travel, came to Indianapolis, Indiana, went to work for a TV station, found I still could sell advertising, but many of the people to whom I was selling advertising liked the creativity I had and asked me if I would handle their advertising. So I decided I would rather do that because I was basically a writer, and I'd rather do that than sell advertising. So I opened up a little tiny agency with a very big automobile account that made it profitable from day one. And about 3 to 4 months after I opened up the agency, I'm a very old person. A person in a white suit came into my office and said, "I've heard a lot about you." And I was 23, 24, 25 years old. I'm not sure what the age was. And he said, "Could you help me franchise my restaurants around the country and help me with my advertising?" That was Colonel Sanders. And so
The original Colonel Sanders?
That was the original Colonel Sanders.
Wow.
And I was the ad agency for Colonel Sanders for 25 years and moved into handling Burger King and Waffle House and Arby's, and then RCA and Whirlpool and movies and so forth, and built a very nice, successful ad agency. And along with that came the Indiana Pacers. And then when the Baltimore Colts decided to move to Indianapolis, they asked me if I would handle the Baltimore Colts just sort of at the end of my advertising career. So I was the agency for the Colts and the Indianapolis Indians and the Indianapolis Checkers hockey team. So I melded all the sports together, understanding that I had to sell tickets, had to sell sponsorships, etc. So that's how I got into sports and have accomplished really what I wanted to accomplish, minus national TV. But we're on track to get national TV this year. And if it works, we will have an ABA game of the week on a national network or a national streaming network of consequence. Now, jumping back to you, Glenn, and monetizing what you do. And I think podcasts are very good, but one of the divisions that I created in the ABA is ABA channels. These are actually television channels upon which you can put all sorts of sports and stream them. These are streaming channels. And like everything else, I made it so easy to do and so inexpensive that actually you could have your own television channel. However, because are you based in New York City?
Yes, I am.
In New York City, if you say to all of the sports that are not getting coverage. Like you're an athlete, like me, old, beat up. I'm an athlete. I was, okay. Football, baseball, basketball, track, swimming, rugby, karate, tennis, with scholarship offers in 5 different sports and a chance to play professionally in 5 sports. So athletics are important. But do you know, outside of boys basketball in high school or AAU or football, all the volleyball, all the soccer, all the stuff that goes on in middle schools and in little leagues and in rugby leagues and in bowling leagues and wrestling, ask yourself on any television station in the city of New York, that have they ever reported any of those sports as if they even existed? And yet in New York, there are 1,000 different teams that never see themselves play. I never saw myself play back when I was playing because they didn't have the video they have today. So you could have a television channel and you reach out to every sports league, bowling, pickleball. I mean, I don't care. They'll supply you video. You put it on. And you know what happens? Your audience becomes big because all these athletes and their mothers and fathers and aunts and uncles and nieces and nephews and cousins will want to see themselves on TV, on your basketball channel or on your sports channel. And you want to know something? Then advertisers will beat a path to your door because you can sell spots in New York for your channel for $1 a minute. $1 a minute. And you know what? You have 40,000 minutes in an hour, in a month. So you can sell 10,000 of those, and you can pick up, to start as you build it up, $120,000 a year. And do you want to know how long it would take you to get that going? Between now and the day after tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's opportunity. And I'll tell you, Glenn, with the background you have in production, and you don't have to do production because all of your content is coming from suppliers. So all you need to do, and now you can reach out to all these advertisers by the internet, so you don't have to go from Brooklyn and Bronx and Queens and Staten Island and Long Island, because they'll want to advertise on there, because they're going to, all the content will be people that are watching it. And the difference is you can measure the viewing audience and they will buy it. So I would say to you, Glenn, that you ought to have a TV channel, and then look at the chambers of commerce of each of the 5 boroughs, and also the minority chambers of commerce, the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, the Black Chamber of Commerce, and ask, do they have TV channels that feature their members and all their activities? The answer is no, they don't. And you could have those channels. Do you know what it costs to put together what I just described?
How much?
$100, $120. I mean, is that bizarre that you could have 4 channels producing $10,000 a month, $40,000 a month, make $480,000 a year? I'm serious.
No, you're making a whole bunch of sense. I appreciate that.
You could do that by next week. That now you're seeing who I am. So people always say, "Hey Joe, you're ABA CEO," and they measure me about basketball. But the reality is, I'm a business person that tries to provide opportunity, and I can put all that stuff together and make it available, because in the end, when you have beautiful people like Ruben, who's really a good guy, okay, and Sean, really good guy, and I'm loaded with 100 of them, okay, they deserve great things in their lives. And so having the passion for basketball and to help kids and to help young players, one thing. To have economic security is another. That's a completely separate issue. So what I do in the ABA is trying to provide that kind of direction that helps them in their lives. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, definitely,
And
most definitely.
so, to your audience, and I'm not sure who your audience is made up of, we can do this all over the country. And you could do it with Ruben, you could do it with Sean, you can do it with other associates you have, because the biggest problem always has been content. What am I going to do? If I have a 24-hour, 7-day a week television channel, what am I going to put on it? Well, I'll guarantee you, you send out an email to every bowling alley, every rugby league, every softball league, and say, we want your content now, and we'll put it on our streaming channel. Duh. And then you create a website. They go right to the website, and they've got them. Little gold mine. I'm not trying to sell channels. Maybe I am, but I'm not. But there's so much out there, and that's what I try to do, and why I think our league is exceptional. The other one is, as Sean will tell you, I am very big on character. I'm old enough now not to want to be around people who are mean-spirited, who are bullies, who are angry, who see everything in a negative way. I don't want that in my ownership. I don't want it on the teams. I don't need it, okay? The world's got enough stress that this game of basketball, this fun of basketball, turned into a serious war is not something that I want or need. So you'll find the character of people in the ABA, and you obviously get along with Sean, and you obviously get along with Ruben. Well, multiply that times 100, and you'll see what the ABA is all about.
No, it's definitely moving in the right direction. I'm hearing a lot of great ideas that you're talking about, that you guys are kind of adapting to make sure that it grows in the right way. Question: Did you guys have anything to do with the Soul Power documentary?
No, I didn't. They didn't even ask me about that. Although in looking at it, it reflected. It's really good.
Yes.
Okay, it's really good, and it really captured the spirit of the original ABA, and they deserved a lot, and it's gotten a lot of attention, and it's brought a lot of attention to my current ABA, but no one asked me about it. And I will tell you, with all the people that were quoted, I don't know one single salary person on earth that knows more about what happened back then than me. Okay, but what did I mind saying? I just thought it was great publicity, and the group of players that made it into the NBA and qualified for their pension plan were terrific. But 150, 200 of them, whatever the number was, were thrown out on the street and had nothing. They ended up with nothing. And the NBA did not recognize that it wasn't just Dr. J and George Gervin and Rick Barry that saved their skin, but it was every one of the players that were on those teams that had to drive buses from the Indiana Pacers to Kentucky to San Diego to wherever it is they were going, and the hardship that those players had in creating that league. Because you got to remember, you remember all those people, but there was no TV back then. It was just their sheer skill and their charisma and their excitement that made it such. And until they got the television exposure, which, tell you the truth, NBC would have never given them, the NBA, their first contract, had it not been for that 4-team merger. They were the NBA was on its last legs, and it wouldn't make it. That merger saved their lives, and did so much for the NBA. And so no wonder they covet the ABA intellectual property and like it, because any historian would say, thank God we did this, because it was great.
No, the ABA was so important to the NBA's growth, and to get them out of the mud, which they were in. That was one of the things that I was disappointed in the end to find out that the NBA didn't cover those guys' pensions, and that was just the only down part for me because it made so much money in the years to follow, and of course those TV contracts, kind of made them who they are today. They could have gave those guys something. Now let's go back a little bit to that time. Um, what what would you say the year was like the height of the ABA? Like the height of the ABA because the merger happened in 76, correct?
Yeah, it's 76, 75, 74, but it was at the end. But I think the 4 teams survived. There would have been 5 going into the NBA, but the St. Louis Spirits didn't go into the as part of the merger, and they
Because
took
of that deal. That deal.
yeah, and uh, so I think that the last year was a really great year because there was great competition between the Kentucky Colonels that had Dan Issel playing for him and Artis Gilmore playing for him, both of whom went on, and Louis Dampier went on to play in the NBA. And then you had Freddie Lewis and Billy Keller and Rick Mount and Mel Daniels and Roger Brown that went into the NBA. So so I think I think they just did a terrific job. They were great players, but during that time, you remember Oscar Robertson, incredible basketball player, Wilt Chamberlain, um, not Kareem, but they had Bob Cousy and Tom Heinsohn, and they had just incredible players of their own in the NBA. So it just gave them a heck of a group of nucleus to make that team. Then NBC did a contract. The world got to see pro basketball, and life went on. And I was happy for the players that made it into the NBA, unhappy for those that were sort of cast aside and ignored because it wouldn't have happened without them. I mean, tell me, can you remember who any of Dr. J's teammates were? Can you remember any of George Gervin's teammates? Can you tell me who was on the Miami Heat with Rick Barry? Seriously, can you tell me who was on
No.
who was on with Moses Malone or Lenny Elmore? I mean, nobody remembers them, but that's what made them great. And if you look at basketball, you look at Michael Jordan, one of the greatest, if not the greatest of all times. But everybody remembers everybody that was on his team. You remember Scottie Pippen, and you remember Oakley and
Grant and
yeah
and Armstrong
because it was
Stacey. Stacey. Yeah.
I remember the old day Knicks, okay, and they had a great Knicks had a great team.
But that was because of television as well. We were able to see them. They were imprinted in our minds. We remember the names. We see the names on back of the jerseys. So those things kind of help us remember those players. So I get what you're saying.
The Guerin brothers, Bill Bradley, Walt.
Yeah.
I mean, Patrick Ewing,
Lewis Orr, Ray Richardson, Bernard King. Yeah.
Yep. I remember all of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Wow. So going back to that St. Louis Spirits team, they was able to work out a deal that kind of benefited them in the long run. And no one knew that, even the NBA didn't know that they was the TV deals will be so astronomical that the St. Louis Spirits will be able to get a piece of those ABA teams' TV money, right? and able to catapult them into extraordinary wealth. And finally, the NBA kind of bought them out. Do you think that it was the right decision for them to let the NBA buy them out or keep generating money from the TV deals?
Well, I don't know if anybody thought in terms of $1 billion deals. It used to be a few $100,000 could buy an NBA team, then a few million, then 100 million, then 500 million, then $1 billion and $2 billion. So it's hard to really say. I think he did a good job, and I understood he ended up making $500 million from it.
Yep.
That seemed like so much money, but try to buy the Los Angeles Lakers today, and you're going to spend $3, $4, $5 billion. So
I think they sold for like 10 billion. I think they sold for like 10 billion.
Yeah. And so, but I think it was a great deal and a smart deal for him, because for many years, if you were not extremely wealthy and using your NBA team as a write-off, it was not a profitable business, but it was a great business. But I think all in all, he was very wise. I think the NBA was very wise to bring the 4 teams in, and so it was. I think the original ABA was really a good primer for our ABA. It's very different from then, not having the star power they had, having the rule power that we have, the distribution or the number of teams we have, and so I think all in all, great respect for the original ABA, great respect for our current ABA, and I have wonderful people in management in the ABA. If you look at the referees, we have about 300 referees, run by Tom Chichester, a person from Rochester, New York, who's been with us from day one. But many of our referees have gone on to the NCAA Division I. Many of our referees have gone to the G League. Some have gone to the NBA. So we're a training ground. And many of our coaches, the president of the Indiana Pacers currently is a former ABA player and coach, one of my players and coaches. Scotty Brooks, who was with Washington. Remember Scotty?
Yep.
He was an assistant coach in the ABA. So we've had quite a few of those. And then career enders like Dennis Rodman played in the ABA when his career was over because he was a competitor and enjoyed playing. And there are quite a few of the former NBA players that have played not for the money, but just because if they didn't play on an ABA team, they'd be playing in a gym somewhere. And then they were saved by Ice Cube and the Big Three. So all of a sudden, overage, fat players got recover.
No, definitely. Hey, CK, you're right. He's giving out some crazy game, man. This platform definitely needs, and definitely happy that Joe Newman was able to come on the podcast, because a lot of people watch this after the fact. I know the playoff game right now, so later on about 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock at night, people will be checking in on what you said throughout the show. Ayatollah Beats, appreciate you, brother. Number one basketball head is in the building, always checking in on every show. Thank you. This is a lot of free game. You just gave me, a multi-million-dollar idea right here on the spot. And even CK was my guy. He's our upstate connect on the high school basketball level, who keeps us up to date on all the basketball that's going on upstate since we're down here in the city. And he said that idea that you was talking about the TV network, he said he thought about doing something like that. So let's put our heads together, CK. Let's make it happen.
Glenn, we can do it. If you reach out to me, I'll hook you up with Arnie Goldberg, who handles that, and perhaps that will be a new addition for you, and also for any of your viewers and listeners that are looking to get into a new business, very, very risk-free, but very fun, and give them a chance to express themselves, because they have their mic in front of them and they can do exactly what you do. So there's a lot there. So just send me an email and I'll give you whatever help I can.
No, I'm definitely going to do that. Definitely going to do that. Just a few more questions before we get you up out of here. New York City has so many semi-professional leagues, especially during the summertime. How come teams from the city are hesitant to join the league? I know my Abraham Lincoln brother, Ruben McLaughlin, had the Corleone Thunder off to an amazing start under his helm, and they won the Eastern Conference Championship during that time that he was there. How come not more New York City teams have gotten down with this great organization and stayed the course? And what are the difficulties and challenges that they face?
Let me tell you, that is a thorn in my side, Glenn. We should have a team, Staten Island, Manhattan, Brooklyn, Bronx, and Queens. We should be in all 6 boroughs. And I've just not had anybody call me and say, now I have a new team coming in the Bronx this year, I believe, if he does all the things he needs to do. But we should have teams. The problem in the past has been finding a venue, but there are suitable, affordable venues, whether junior colleges, community colleges, or high schools with full-size gyms. And so if any of you know about it, I'll make it easier to own and operate an ABA team than any other. But I'm very embarrassed that New York is not flooded with teams. And that goes for Nassau County and Suffolk County. We should have 2 teams in Nassau County. We should have 2 teams in Suffolk. We do have a team in Suffolk County, but we should be in Nassau County also. And I, having gone to Port Washington High School and know Long Island like the back of my hand, and I know New York because I grew up there. We should have a lot of teams. So if you run across anybody that wants to have a team, I can make it happen.
Most definitely. Going to definitely be talking to some people now. What does the future hold for the ABA? Like I've read that you guys is doing a celebrity ABA as well as a junior ABA and a senior ABA and other leagues along with the international expansion. What does that look like for you guys in the future?
I would like to have other leagues. I do believe there's a place for over 40 basketball players. I do believe that we're working on junior ABA. We're working on 3-on-3 summer leagues. And so, but I want to make sure that the foundation of the ABA is secure and operates well. So I don't spread myself too thin and lose focus on the actual product itself. And yet I believe that you'll see multiple summer, spring, and fall leagues of different types, youth leagues of different types, wearing the ABA banner. And I am very easy to allow the use of ABA intellectual property because it is a 50-year-old intellectual property, and it is well known across the world. So I see that coming, but I don't see that as being a priority that come tomorrow morning I'm going to be working on and worrying whether I have another, South League or so. But there's so many teams. I'm trying to get a team in Albany, but we're in Saratoga now, and in Buffalo, and in Syracuse, and in Herkimer, and in Rochester, and in Sullivan County, and in Hudson Valley. We're talking with someone, a close associate of Sean's, about Poughkeepsie, New York. And so we're going to have a New York State division very soon. Right now, the New York State teams do play cross over to New England to play. But I want to grow. The nature of our league is that our players are all have jobs. This is not a full-time profession. So I can't have a league where they go on the road and miss work. So they have to be able to go to a game and come back, go to a game and come back. So that's why the large number of teams. So and then also I don't want our teams to have to provide housing or jobs, and I don't want to separate players from their families. So you won't see Florida players playing for a New Hampshire team or a Chicago players playing for San Diego team. I want them to be local and recognizable and travel easy. So will I expand? I cut off expansion for this year a week ago, and I've already added 2 new teams for the 2027, and I expect to have 20 to 25 new teams for the 2027 2028 league, and I'm talking to a lot of people about doing that. But for now, we're laying down the foundation to have a good year.
Yeah, keep the main thing the main thing.
You
That's
got to keep
important.
Yeah, which you same thing goes with your Basketball Heads Live podcast. You got to keep your focus on what you do best and make sure you do it best.
Yeah, and look, when starting the Basketball Heads podcast, I'm gonna tell you all the things that came out of this podcast when I started in 2020. Was able to bring my neighborhood basketball tournament back, the Brevard Basketball League, that's been around since 1973, and has so many memorable and legendary players play on that court. But for 30 years, it's been dismantled. So after starting the podcast, got the court refinished, and now we're in our 5th year coming up. Out of that came AAU program. Out of that also came the high school podcast. Out of that also came me being I want to say an important part of the media in New York City basketball. I'm on the NBPA, the National Basketball Association, Player Association, Top 100 Committee, which puts me in a position to vote for the top 100 players in the country. I'll be going to the camp next month. Also, Nike has put together a Clash Crown where we pick, some of the top players in the city, which we was already doing, but they added guys like myself so we can add something to their brand as well. So a lot of things came out of me starting this Basketball Head platform. And you're right, you got to keep the main thing because that's the engine that keeps everything running.
Agreed. Totally agree.
Yeah. So, okay. So when we talk about people finding games in local areas, like how can we support the people in the local area support their prospective teams? Like, because I know that's very important for the locals to be able to show up to the games. How do they find out about the teams? Where can they go to find out the teams in their area?
Well, our website is realabaleague.com. Realabaleague.com. That website has been in effect for about 10 years. Either tomorrow or Tuesday, we're introducing a new website, same web address, realabaleague.com.
Right.
And all the conferences, all the divisions are on there. All the stats will be on there. All the ticket information will be on there. It'll be a very proactive new website with a new look and new video. And I am doing one last check tonight to make sure that it has the information that I want on it before I release it to the public. But my teams will learn about that tomorrow in a communication from me. So everybody listening or watching you, all they can do is go to realabaleague.com and learn all they want.
Right now. I'm about to put it up on the screen right now so everybody will have it. www.realaba.com. teams.com.
Yep.
That's it. That's it right there,
No,
people. That's it
no,
right.
no. Real
What's that? Oh,
ABAleague.com.
league. Ah, got you,
Oh,
got you, got
yeah.
you, got you. Thank you,
Yeah.
thank you, thank you. Quick eyes, quick eyes. Good, good, good.
As Judge
There
Judy
you
would
go.
say, yep is not an answer.
That's it
Yeah.
right there.
That's it.
Good, good. There you go. There you go. If you want to find it, I'll put it in the chat as well. Is if you could change anything about your journey with the ABA, what would it be and why?
It would be a greater concentration on figuring out how to get national television because the world deserves to see what we put together. And without television, I haven't had the sponsorships that I would like to have. So, if anything, I probably should have focused from over the last 25 years on doing everything that I could to get national TV. And I think I've probably let down a lot of people because of that. But I have a new company working on getting that, and they've assured me they will. And when this season opens this year, I hope to have an ABA game of the week, and if I do, that will be an all new ball game. That's about the only thing. The probably the other one is I've not been able to attract a national supplier like Nike, Adidas, Under Armour, et cetera, for uniforms. And so my teams buy their uniforms from a potpourri of different suppliers. They are beautiful uniforms. They all have great warm ups. Everything is nice. But would I like to have a Nike swish on them or a UA on them from Under Armour? Yes, haven't been able to do it. So if there's any shortcomings to the ABA, I take the blame. And anybody knows me, when anything doesn't go right, I start with me and say, I'll take responsibility for it and take the credit when it goes right, take the responsibility when it doesn't go right. And it works. It works. And,
Nah,
you know,
that's awesome.
Glenn, and, here I am on a Sunday night and people find it unique that I'm 89 years old. And there are not many CEOs that are 89 years old that work every day and do what I do. And I'm blessed with the fact that I can. And so every day I think it's a blessing that I have the energy and the desire and the creativity and whatever else it takes to be able to do what I do, because I don't take that for granted. Because in my week, this week, if I run across another 89-year-old working person, I will be absolutely surprised, because I don't. So it's just really, it is fun and I enjoy it, which is why I'm on with you tonight and like doing what I'm doing.
And you sharp as a blade, man. You sharp as a blade. Look, the game that you were able to give, the history, and all the things that you still remember from the past is an awesome thing. And I'm glad you was able to come tonight. I enjoyed this so much, and I'm glad you was able to come on. You gave a lot of good history, gave a lot of good information that we can use, and I'm definitely going to be in contact with you, put some things together.
Terrific, Glenn,
Appreciate
and I'm
you.
honored that you asked me on, and anytime I'm always available.
All right, so just let me know when that national game come on. Let me know. We'll help you guys promote it. All right.
You definitely will know, Glenn, and say hi to Sean and Ruben if you should be seeing them.
Definitely, definitely. Take care.
Thank you. You too. Have a good night.
All right, Joe Newman, everybody. Joe Newman, ABA CEO. Man, that was awesome, man. For those of you who picked up on that game, y'all want to partner up and do some things. There you go. That was the whole goal, right? From this, to start the own network. That's why my website is called NYC Basketball Network, and it's definitely gonna be popping off soon. Thank you, Joe Newman, CEO of the ABA, baby. ABA, that's what we do, man. We bring a lot of history here. on Basketball Heads, NYC basketball history, baby. Thank you, CK. Yo, CK, let's talk, man. Let's put some things together, man. Let's put some things together and make this all work, man. Well, everybody out there, Basketball Heads Land, we appreciate you. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for coming through and checking out what we do on these Sundays. All right? Don't forget to subscribe, like, share the content. Till then, peace. Enjoy your Sunday, y'all. We are out.
Y'all ready? Y'all ready? Yes. You have just stepped into the world of chaos. Where everybody goes hard. Come on. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Or go home. Never back down. You gotta hold your own. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. East Coast. Go hard. West Coast. Go hard. Midwest. Go hard. Dirty. Hurry up, everybody. Get online. Buy your tickets 'cause the game about to start.